What up, y'all? This is your girl, Coach Nequa T on the beat, and you are now tuning into the Spacious podcast where transparency meets healing and faith meets mental health. And on today's episode, we are talking about surrendering is permission. Okay? Surrendering is permission is today's topic. And listen, these topics always hit heavy, but this one right here, it hits heavy to a different level. So when we talking about surrendering is permission, I know for me this is a daily thing for me. Surrendering is not an easy thing. I know a lot of you have been wondering, or maybe you've asked yourself, like, how do I surrender? Like, what does it even look like to surrender? And maybe you're a person that been asking this question, but you've just been feeling like it's some roadblocks that's been happening in the midst of that. Like you just feel like it's so hard for you to even surrender because mentally, if you are someone that has that ego, and I'm just speaking from experience of what I have went through thus far, if you are someone that has had that pride that's been trying to stop you, your ego been trying to stop you, and it's just so hard for you to submit under authority, then surrendering is not an easy task to do. But when this topic came about, I knew that this was something that I want to speak about because, as once again, we are here to learn together. And as I go along my journey, I always want to give insight to what I have inhibited in this time and just to give help you on your journey as you grow in your faith journey, as you heal, as you learn how to even let things go mentally. Like this is what this platform is for. So I wanted to do something a little different for this episode. Me, I write from time to time, trying to get back in my writing thing, you know what I'm saying? But I wanted to just read you all something that I had wrote when it comes to surrendering and how I have understood what it is to surrender thus far. So when it comes to surrendering is an act of giving up your own way of doing things. Like surrendering is a way of giving up control. And that's not always an easy thing to do, especially when you are a person that can be a type A person and you just feel like, hey, I gotta do this. I gotta make sure this is in line. And you're so used to just being in control. You're so used to taking care of everybody and making sure they're good before yourself. It's not always an easy thing to do. So, surrendering is releasing control of the barriers and the limitations that you have placed on yourself based on the negative experience you have inhibited over your life that you have inhibited over the years. Surrendering is not holding on to the past. It's about focusing on today to strive forward. Surrendering is not focusing on what you should have and could have done. Instead, you strive for what you are capable of doing in the now. It's not focusing on the past things that you have, basically, the past things that have tried to stop you along the way. That's what surrendering looks like. It's letting go of that luggage or that extra baggage that you have carried with you. Surrendering is a declaration to self that you will no longer allow your past setbacks, actions, your own willpower to control where God is taking you. Surrendering is not easy because if you are a person who has programmed yourself to consistently be in control, like I was saying earlier, of how you want an outcome to be, surrendering is abnormal to your subconscious mind. It is a foreign thing to you. It's not something that you are really used to doing, and is probably something that you never did before because you saw control as a way of protecting yourself. But let's take it through a different lens. What if you was to surrender the thing that you thought could protect you? What I mean by that is, if you were to surrender how how you want a certain situation to move forward, you surrender that way of, like, if I was to do it my way, or if you was to surrender, I'm trying to paint the picture. If you was to surrender that anger that you feel in your heart, or if you was to surrender that lack of trust that you feel in your heart because you don't want anybody to betray you or hurt you again, if you was to surrender that way of thinking, then what would it look like to be on the other side and learn how to actually put your trust in God, or learn how to put your trust even in yourself again? That's what surrendering is about. A lot of times we look at surrendering as a cliche thing, or we look at surrendering as an act of just feeling like, well, I don't want to look weak, because you felt like you have surrendered before and you felt like all hell broke loose. But what if that truly wasn't you surrendering? What if it that was still you trying to be in control in the process? So let's keep going. In those moments where you felt that you wanted to give up, it's your conscious mind telling you to release the stuff in your storage, release the baggage because it's getting too heavy for you. And I want you to take this journey with me real quick. Picture yourself getting ready to take your first flight. Now, if you ever been on a flight, or if you ever been on a plane before, you know is limitations on what items you can bring and what you cannot bring. Like, they tell you the certain sizes you can bring. They tell you all these rules and all these things that you can do in order to even board the plane, or even get on the plane, period. So as you're packing your bag, you know there are essential items that you should take. So the question is, what are you going to bring in your luggage bag? I know for a long time, I carried my negative attitude, pride, self sabotage, control, overthinking, and a little bottle of grace to come with me, a little travel bag of grace, and my past as my essentials. But I had to realize it was time for me. I had to realize that I couldn't take those things in my checked bag. I couldn't take those things along with me for the ride because the bag was too heavy. And there was no way that I wanted to pay the price to take all of this stuff with me. Because listen, when you have all that extra stuff in your bag, it that price started to add up. That price, it gets high for all the extra stuff that you are bringing with you. So, and I also understood, if I was to bring these items, if I was to bring that negative attitude, if I was to bring that self sabotage with me on this plane ride with me, I knew it would cost me on the destination I would go. Why? Because it would make the plane heavier. It will make the plane heavier to the point that maybe it wouldn't even take off. Maybe I have to do an emergency landing, which will cause me to have a delay to where I'm going. So what do I mean by this? It means that I had to be mindful, and so do you, of what items you are going to bring on the plane. I had to reevaluate, well, what is it that I need to remove from my bag? What is it that the things that I thought I needed to protect me to get to this next level? What are those things that I needed to surrender that I knew no longer could come with me. So I had to surrender my pride. I had to take out the control. I had to take out the lack of trust. I had to take out the overthinking. I had to take out the overanalyzing, the self-sabotage, the self-doubt, the lack of confidence to board this plane. And if I had to be quite honest, this is not a one-time thing. It's probably a couple of times, plenty more times, that I have to take those things out of my luggage bag till this day. Because surrendering is not something that happens overnight, but it's a continuous willing to say yes, that you are going to surrender those things despite how you are feeling in the inside, despite what is happening around you. And maybe you are a person, you're having so much chaos that is happening around you that you are like, man, my luggage bag is heavy, but I don't even know how to take the luggage out. I don't even know how to take the items out of my bag. How do I do that? How do I do that? So the question is, how did I do that? And how do I do that now? Because this is present tense, okay? So it honestly starts by really just deciding with a simple yes. It starts with really understanding, like, is this beneficial to me? Is being a negative person, is being a prideful person, is that beneficial to me? Is this beneficial to me in the now? Or is this hindering me? That's a question that you have to ask yourself on a daily basis. Whenever you have anything, a feeling or action or emotion or a behavior that comes up, it's the question that you should be asking yourself, is this beneficial to me? And how is it affecting me in the long run? How is it affecting me right now? How am I acting right now? Because when you ask yourself these type of questions, it leaves you accountable. It leaves you accountable as to how you are going to move forward. And a lot of times it may mean that you have to take out additional items. It may take you changing your environment, the people that you hang around, because those people, a lot of times the people that we come in cahoots with or we befriend, they are enabling that space or that behavior we are in right now, because they're in the same space that we're in. And something that I just been learning is, it's like, if I'm the leader of the pack, then I'm in the wrong space. If I'm the wisest one in the pack, then I'm in the wrong place. I'm sitting with the wrong people. So those are the type of questions that you should ask yourself, because that will help you to determine what you are surrendering today. And a lot of times you have to start your day in that way. You have to ask yourself, well, what am I surrendering today? Even before the day start, you got to tell yourself, you got to ask yourself, what am I surrendering today? And stand on that declaration. So, as now you've gotten your ticket because you figured out what actually you should be bringing on your plane. You should be bringing your kindness. You should be bringing your peace. You should be bringing your grace. The affirmation that you show yourself day in, day out. Bring it on the continuous healing that you're going through. Bring those things with you. Bring in the love. You need that love to get on that plane, honey. Bringing the love on that plane. So, I want you to take a moment right now to even just think about what you need to surrender to board on your plane to your next destination in life. And I want you to even think about, what is that destination that you're trying to get to? What is that destination? And then it's like, how are you going to get to that destination? Because once you start to align those things in play, then you'll appreciate those moments when your character is being corrected, or those moments where it's just like, man, I really do need to surrender some things. That's when it'll hit. And I also want to ask you, what is costing you your peace? What is costing you your peace right now? What is that them extra baggages, or them extra baggage, or that luggage, or those items that are in your bag that are costing you right now, that are costing you your peace, costing you your peace ticket to load up on that plane? What is costing you right now? So that is the message that I wanted to leave with you all today when it comes to surrendering, because surrendering is truly permission. God is not going to he has never been a person to overstep his boundaries with you, only if you allow him in. And to allow him into your space, it takes you surrendering. And for anybody out there that feels like, I gotta take care of everybody to make sure everybody else is good, but I come last, it's time to change that. It's time to change that. It's time for you to take the cape off. It's time for you to take that cape off. Put it up on the hanger. It's time to take it off, because that cape can very well, what is costing your bag to be heavy. So I hope that this message, it was fruitful to your soul. I hope that it gave you what you needed today. I hope that you are blessed by it today. If you need to pass it along to somebody, go ahead and do that. Make sure you stay connected with us right here on YouTube at the Gracious Space Community. And this is a message from your girl, Coach Nequa T, on the beat, y'all. Make sure you check out all the previous episodes. And hey, as always, show yourself some grace on this life journey, because you deserve it. You've been through a lot. But I want you to take a moment to really think about, what is it that you need to surrender, because it can't come with you where God is taking you. All right, y'all. That's a wrap. We out.